James Show. It's News Talk 820 FM WBAP. We're going to have a fun show today because they give me so much fun material to work with. The bombings must have gone really good in Iran. Things must be going really good at the NATO summit because all the reporting and the questions that people are focused on, and when I say people, I mean the loaded, biased, regular actors here, they're focused on this dumb daddy comment. Were you listening to the Vince show when he was talking about this? If you're just joining us, I can get you all caught up. He's at, when I say he, President Trump is at the NATO summit. The guy who's running NATO these days, Secretary General, or whatever they call him, Mark Rutte. And you'll hear Trump speaking here, but listen for Rutte's comments because he doesn't really call Trump daddy. He just says, sometimes daddy has to say some strong words. And it's almost like a metaphorical. I mean, I guess it's like associated with Trump. But it's not like a big important part of the point that was being made. I just wanted to point all that out because the focus on it is going to kind of bewilder you. It's very strange the things these people choose to focus on.
I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. They fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while you have to use a certain word.
I think we have to join the house.
Yeah, so daddy has to sometimes use strong language. He didn't say Trump's my daddy or my daddy is Trump or daddy Trump or anything together like that. It was really metaphorical. He wasn't really even calling him daddy. Now, you're saying, James, why are you focusing on it? Well, hang on. We'll get to that. Because Rutte, the Mark guy, he spoke a little bit later. First question he was asked, some lady from Sky News was asking about the daddy comment.
Deborah Haynes from Sky News.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Deborah.
The language that you have used when talking to Donald Trump has been notable because of its flattery. Today you called him daddy and you sent a text message to him that was gushing with praise. Is this the way that you feel that you have to act when doing business with the US president through flattery and praise? Isn't it a bit demeaning? And doesn't it make you look weak?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a bit of a question of taste, but I think he's a good friend. And when he is doing stuff which is forcing us to, for example, when it comes to making more investments. I mean, would you ever think that this would be the result of this summit if he would not have been re-elected president? Do you really think that the 7 or 8 countries who said, somewhere in the 2030s we might meet the 2%, we've now all decided in the last 4 or 5 months to get to 2%? So doesn't he deserve some praise?
Yeah, isn't it demeaning to speak in such glowing terms about President Trump? That's your question? Isn't that kind of demeaning for you to be saying nice things about the President of the United States? Do you ever ask that when it's a politician that you agree with? Isn't that demeaning when you get positive comments from the global community? No, that's not demeaning. That's what you want. Did any of these people ask Obama, isn't that demeaning? Isn't that demeaning when you get all kinds of praise like that? And so, okay, she asked one question about it, big whoop. Well, no. Doesn't stop there. Same lady asked the same daddy question when it was Donald Trump later at the podium again. So remember, you have access here. This lady working for Sky News has access to two of the most powerful guys on planet Earth. One of them, the guy who runs the most powerful country on the planet. The other guy runs the world's most powerful military alliance on the planet. And you're asking about these sort of one-off, metaphorical, doesn't mean a damn thing comments again.
Hello.
Deborah Haynes from Sky News.
Thanks, Deborah.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionately. Daddy, you're my daddy.
But to ask this question twice is insane. There are so many important issues falling under the umbrella of a NATO summit that could help inform your readers, could help you get to the bottom of the issues and the story that you're there to report on. But you're not there to report on the story. You're there to try and set up a scenario where Trump says something that can be used out of context or reframed in a headline-grabbing way. You're there to what? Generate clickbait? Because you could be asking about, the wars that are going on, or the conflicts, the rebellions, the bombings, Gaza, Iran, nuclear proliferation, embargoes, blockades, economic sanctions, the price of oil. You could have asked about refugees, mass immigration, tariffs, deportations, trade deals. Was the bombing in Iran even effective? But you ask about this goofy daddy comment twice? And so if you think she's just dumb, no, she's not dumb. She's suffering from Trump derangement system. This is what it looks like when you forego all these other actual serious issues and you use what precious little time you have to ask a question on behalf of your readers, your viewers, your countrymen. You're trying to get a gotcha statement so you can take Donald Trump down a peg, your perceived political opponents, so you can take them down a peg. What does that tell you? Bombing must have worked. Bombing must have gone really good, because if they had something legit to criticize, they'd be criticizing that. If they got these daddy comments, really? All right, well, hey, round of applause. Things must be going swimmingly over there. Things must be going really good at the NATO summit. So let's go ahead and open up the phones here. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Because, we can have the real discussion on whether or not you think the ceasefire will hold. But I just don't trust this reporter. And I don't just trust this reporting. I don't trust these new headlines where people are running around. Oh, there's a leaked report from the intel community saying the bombing in Iran was a dud. Nothing got blown up and Trump's lying to you. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. I'll explain it next. Do you believe these people for 5 seconds about anything political anymore? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up this Sunday evening is the next James Show listener meetup. I'll be doing a comedy show with the great Alex Stein from the Blaze TV at Hyenas in Dallas. Doors at 6, shows at 7. Need more info? Just reach out to me on social media. I'll let you know. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, homeowners, you know that the incentive for insurance companies is to take in as much premiums as possible and to pay out to homeowners as little as possible. James Parker here for Blue Ribbon Roofing. They know how to work the system. They've done it thousands, plural, thousands of times. And if you go to blueribbondfw.com, don't just believe me, go to the reviews section. And you can see a lot of these reviews are kind of short, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Here's one from April 3rd. John, Tish, and Trevor taught us how to get our roofs paid for by the insurance company. Blue Ribbon is the best. That's Julian from I don't know where, because he didn't leave a location. But that's what you're worried about. That's the only thing keeping you from taking proper care of your house, is you're worried about how much it's going to cost. Well, Blue Ribbon Roofing can help you with that. They won't tell you you need a new roof unless you really need one. A lot of these reviews are showing that they come out, do an inspection, give you a high five, and leave. That's what they did for me. They might need a little patch here and there, but if you do need a new roof, they can help you with that insurance process to make sure they don't short sheet the bed on you like that. That's their incentive. That's what they're trained to do. Blue Ribbon Roofing can help you get around that. So trust my guys. It's a family-owned company, John, Tish, and Trevor Hopkins. Go to blueribbondfw.com. If you need a new roof, say you heard it on the James Show, you get a free ridge vent ventilation upgrade. blueribbondfw.com. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out today. We have some strange coverage that's going on. You know, we're at war, and there's many battlefronts that NATO is facing right now, some of which are adjacent to its interests. You know, the whole Gaza thing, the Iran thing, all the fun that's happening with Ukraine and Russia. I mean, that totally sarcastic tongue-in-cheek. And the media gets focused right down on just a one-off comment from the head of NATO where he metaphorically referred to Trump as daddy. And I am just marveling at how dishonest and politically focused these reporters are. So here on the home front, you have our own version of, what was her name? Diane from Sky News. Deborah, wasn't it Deborah? We have over here a report that the Iranian bombing was a complete and utter failure. Didn't collapse anything. If it set Iran back, maybe months at the most. Well, all it takes is one person to report it, and then everybody else can run with the same error and then just put report say, or as reported by this lady on CNN. But when I say this lady on CNN, her name's Natasha Bertrand. Now, I know you don't know that name, but the good people at newsbusters.org did a little bit of research. This is the same lady that broke the very important story in October of 2020 that Hunter Biden's laptop was probably Russian disinformation. That was her. That was another one of her big breaking stories. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. She got that wrong. She was telling you Biden was sharp as a tack up until a year ago. Now, after she's proven to get this wrong, she's still going to have her job. Not only is she going to have her job, she didn't get a big scarlet disinformation letter put on her chest. That's a literary reference, Garrett. She still has her job. People still take her reports as if she's credible after breaking what turned out to be just a ridiculous hoax. Yeah, the Russians set up Hunter Biden with the laptop full of disinformation. Yeah, they stole a bunch of videos from him, smoking crack with hookers and guns. Put him on a laptop and left it down the street in Delaware. Sure. 800-288-9227. This is Gregory in Dallas. You're on WBAP.
What's up, dude?
Hey.
All right. So just right off the bat, first question. So do you support calling another man daddy?
I mean, I'm not necessarily for it or against it. I mean, we said Puff Daddy like 1,000 times in the last month.
Well, let me rephrase that a little bit. Do you support the NATO chief calling Trump daddy?
I'm not even sure if it's accurate that he called him daddy. He used the metaphor. You know, sometimes daddy has to use strong language. And so that means, you know, you
daddy in this case referring to Trump, right?
Well, it could be referring to him. It could be referring to Pete Hegseth or Marco Rubio. It could be referring to our generals or the guy who dropped the bomb himself.
Okay, because it seemed from your language that you were thinking they were talking about Trump and that you were saying that, yeah, he's deserved to be called daddy.
Well, Rudda, when he was asked about it, says Trump deserves some praise for what he's done. There's nothing
less about him and more, I think, what I heard you say.
Well, look, to be fair, I don't think it would change my opinion much if he was called daddy. Whoop-de-doo if he did get called daddy.
I'll agree with you there. Who gives a hoot about what somebody calls Trump? I care more about what he's actually doing in office, which is pretty debatable at best.
Well, with this Iran thing, this looks like it's kind of working out in his favor. You don't like shutting down the border?
It depends on how you're doing it. I'd say the way he's doing it, is doing nothing but causing labor shortages.
Yeah. Okay. So I can hear that you don't like Trump, but you're sort of just dancing around it because you don't want that to taint people's perception of your criticism. But go ahead and get it out. You're not fooling anybody. You don't like Trump.
No, I mean, my opinion of Trump is not the matter at hand. It's my opinion of his policies. That's what politics is supposed to be.
I know. Of course it's supposed to be. That's why we're making fun of this lady for not asking anything about the policies, not asking about the wars at hand or the oil, the price of oil, the economic impacts, how effective the strikes were.
You got to keep in mind there, look at the type of, when people do ask those kind of questions, look at how Trump responds to them.
Yeah, you're deranged. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
I mean, sure, let's roll a clip of him answering a policy question with absolutely no problems, no tangents, no sequiturs about Hunter's Biden laptop or anything like that.
Why? Because if I do it, you'll just move on to the next thing.
I mean, I'll be singularly impressed because I'm unaware of any such event.
Cool. So when I play this right now, when I'm done, you're going to say, "I'm sorry, James. I am terribly misinformed in my opinions." Are you going to do that, or are you just going to move on to the next thing?
I will absolutely say I am impressed.
With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left.
Tangent.
Yeah. So this
not really answering the question.
that was just an answer to a question. I just played. Were you just talking over that whole thing? Because I potted you down.
No, I didn't hear any sort of quote.
Here we go.
With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left.
He answers direct questions all the time. Sometimes he's flighty. Sometimes he chases rabbits.
What's the policy that he's just laid out there?
What is his goal? What is his what's he trying to accomplish with the bombing?
Foreign policy that he's laying out. You know, like traditional foreign policy
Yes,
that the U.S.
peace
government
or there's
has done.
more bombings. That's pretty simple. That's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Yeah, you're telling two people, hey, you guys are going to be peace, otherwise we're going to bomb you to high hell. I guess you could.
Okay, so here's the part where you prove that you don't have Trump derangement syndrome by apologizing for being wrong in your previous statement.
I mean, I apologize for not being a little bit more on your wavelength with this one, but I don't really view what you just played as a clip as policy.
What do you have to hear? I have a whole laptop here just waiting.
Yeah, let's make it simple because if you're talking about economics, it's real easy to identify policy. So if you want to play a clip of him speaking clearly about a policy that he wants to implement, and especially if he followed through on implementing said policy, I will go, you prove me wrong.
Anything about the tariffs, dude. Anything about the tariffs.
Have those been beneficial?
You didn't. That wasn't part of the. See, you're moving the goalpost. You're moving the goalpost.
I did move the goalpost there. I should have added on that it's beneficial to the American people.
No. See, that's a subjective criteria. So all you have to do is, even if I play him making specific policy statements and following through with them, you'll be like, oh, but it's not beneficial. See, do you not notice how you move the goalpost? Do you not notice?
I will be nice here, and I will say you are right. He has made policy statements in the past. He has even made policy statements that he has followed through on. I would say that of the very few policy-based statements that he's made, most are highly controversial, and there's very much room for debate. You're not okay. Yes, sure. It's subjective that it's controversial.
You think it's controversial. I don't think it's controversial. Garrett doesn't. Most of the people listening don't. You are deranged. You don't like this guy, and it clouds your judgment on everything he does. And I hope you wake up from it.
You don't think a flat 10% tariff on everything, everywhere, from anyone is kind of controversial?
Controversial? No, it's not my preferred policy, but it's not like, oh my God, we're dealing with literally Hitler. I hear like a little bit of hope coming out of you, Gregory. Keep being open-minded and listening to the show. You're going to find out we're not really supporting Hitler. We're not really Nazis. We're not really racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe. A lot of us just want a smaller government. That's all. Maybe a closed border, maybe our gun rights, maybe fewer wars. 800-288-9227. Coming up next, what the heck did Jasmine Crockett say this time? I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM, WBAP. The next James Show listener meet and greet is going to be at Hyenas this Sunday. I'm doing a comedy show opening for the great Alex Stein. You've probably seen him either with The Blaze or on your Twitter feed or Facebook somewhere floating around, maybe in some of his viral videos. But come on out, more details. Just let me know. It's on social media all over the place. Young men, let me give you some advice, especially if you've never been married. If you would like to have a long-term, stable, happy relationship with a female of the species, there's a couple of rules that guys my age and older have all agreed on and probably found out the hard way. Number one, those pants never, ever make her butt look big. It doesn't matter what the truth is. You always lie about that. Or if they look great, tell the truth. But the result is always, no, you look great in that. Whatever the outfit is, whatever the dress, whatever the jeans, you never, ever say she looks anything less than great. Another tip, guys, figured this out the hard way. When you ask a woman where she wants to eat, she knows, but she's not going to answer you because she wants you to guess. Why? I don't know. So it looks like it's your idea. I don't know. But she knows. You're just supposed to guess. Don't get mad. Number 3, don't ever tell her she's acting like her mom. You might die. And number 4, once she is upset, if she's ever in that situation, you never, ever, ever tell her to calm down. With that, we go to today's episode of What Did Jasmine Crockett Say This Time?
Jasmine Crockett, queen of the liberal tea.
Peach blonde, bad built butch body, Governor Hot Wheels, and he is a hot ass mess, honey.
Queen of the liberal tea.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome to today's episode of What Did Jasmine Crockett Say This Time? I've got a couple cuts here. I'm going to do the more calm one first, and then we're going to do the calm down one. You want to just do that? All right. Number 1, Jasmine's still a little miffed that she's not been briefed on military strikes.
But I wanted to jump on because obviously it's been bombs, missiles, all kinds of stuff. And to be clear, I've still not gotten any type of briefing. So just so y'all know, nobody's tried to call us in for a top secret briefing at all as whole sitting members of Congress, but whatever. So I wanted to make sure that y'all knew that. So unfortunately, my information is not any more advanced than the information that you're getting, whether you're watching TV or if you're on social media.
Hey, should we bomb Iran's nuclear sites? I don't know. Why don't you ask the congressional representative from Dallas who has no military experience whatsoever? Okay. Here's the fun one, though. You don't even have to worry about the content or what she's talking about here. Things get kind of heated, and there's a bunch of people that are talking all over each other, and then the chair of the committee or whatever hearing that they're in, when things are starting to calm down, actually tells Jasmine Crockett to calm down. And ooh, boys, that's a rookie mistake.
Gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just
You just voted to do
Y'all did
it.
it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down.
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get
do.
through proceedings.
So I'm trying to get
Miss
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
Y'all wanna
recognized.
play
Miss
games,
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
and
yelling.
You don't want me
Calm
to
down.
Be,
Can
no,
you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise,
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a problem.
Mr.
Order.
All right,
Sorry.
chair.
I don't know why
Okay.
you're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now
that.
recognizes.
And our young kings out there, let this be a lesson, not a political lesson. This is a lesson that you need to take with you for the rest of your life. If your woman, if your wife, if your girlfriend, I don't know, probably works on your mom and sister too. If the lady in the room next to you or with you is upset, telling her to calm down will probably result in the battle scene from Braveheart. This is what the next few minutes of your life are going to be. If you haven't ruined the rest of the night altogether. Once you say this, you're just done for the rest of the day. If you're on a date, oh, it's over. It's over. There's no coming up for a drink after that, or there's no once you get home and the kids get to bed. No, There's none of that. Just learn your gentlemen. Learn the easy way. Don't learn the hard way. Never tell an upset woman to calm down. And knowing is half the battle.
Jasmine Crockett, queen of the liberal tea.
Bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Governor Hot Wheels. And he is a hot ass mess, honey.
Queen of the liberal tea.
Coming up next on the James Show, your governor vetoes the THC ban. I'll tell you why I think legal THC might survive the Texas legislature's upcoming special session with John Burke from Shell Shock next. 800-288-9227. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Well, hey there. Welcome to the James Show. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. I'm doing a comedy show this weekend. It's not an official station event or anything, but if you want to find more info, it's at my social media. Go check that out. I'm opening for Alex Stein, who you may have heard of at Hyenas here in Dallas. If that's something you're interested in, come on out. It counts as our monthly James Show listener meet and greet. My next guest is John Burke, Shell Shock CBD, one of the guys who is the hottest about this situation surrounding legal THC in Texas, primarily because John Burke's focus has been on providing PTSD and other stress relievers to veterans. And John Burke, how do you feel about the governor vetoing the ban at the last minute on Sunday? Well, as it stands now, barring the something changes in the special session, is there anything that changes in that industry? Because I saw that there was like a provision where like disposable vapes were outlawed, but I don't know what the status of these are. We're trying to figure this guy out. John, I think we had speculated in a previous guest appearance on this show on what could be his motive, because no one's really calling for this. There's not a groundswell of grassroots support trying to ban THC gummies, and so we were speculating that maybe it's the legal lobby, like legal alcohol. But I was also thinking the medical marijuana lobby probably prefers you get funneled through their medical system rather than just going to a shop and getting some gummies or going to people like yourself. You're listening to John Burke from Shell Shock CBD. So I'm kind of surprised at how optimistic you sound. This thing got thumped in the regular session. What makes you so sure it will survive the special session? Sure. Yeah, we were calling for school choice and property cuts. Instead, they went after the weed gummies. So, all right. Well, John Burke, I'm pleasantly surprised at how optimistic you are, because I know through Shell Shock you provide a lot of veterans suffering from PSD with some therapeutic stuff that might be banned soon. So, good luck, Godspeed to you, and thanks for being on the James Show. Real quick, where do they find you online? Boomer Dan. Who's Boomer Dan? Now I want to know. All right. Oh, Dan, that's a Dan Patrick joke. I'm a little slow today. Thank you very much. Maybe I need some THC therapy or something. All right. Do you think this will survive the special session? Do you want it to survive the special session? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I think there's a lot of soccer moms out there who have found gummies to be pretty helpful with anxiety out there. Just a little pattern that I've noticed, anecdotally speaking, in my own life. 800-288-9227. We'll talk about this next, the THC ban in the special session on The James Show. News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Welcome back to the big show. You know, we got a lot of excitement out of Austin over the weekend because at the last second, your governor vetoed some bills and signed some other bills. And we don't have the pocket veto like they have in D.C. in Austin. If he doesn't sign the bill on after a certain period of time, it becomes law no matter what. So the signing of it is just to signal, hey, I'm not going to veto this, I suppose. But one of the more talked about provisions was the ban on THC that had passed and then got vetoed and then will be brought back up because Governor Greg Abbott also called a special session. Will it survive? Will legal THC survive the special session? Should legal THC survive the special session? Now, I'm one of those annoying, just eye-rolling libertarians who thinks all drugs should be legal and over the counter. I know you probably don't agree with me. Last time I looked it up, it's between 9 and 11% of the population agrees with me. So, okay, you don't agree with me. So just tell me where you're at and why. 800-288-9227. We're going to start with Chris in Dallas here on WBAP. Go.
Good afternoon. I've had over 30,000 addicts through my doors. I'm the director of homeless to home ownership, and I disseminate information. Since Colorado legalized pot, vehicular manslaughter is up 151%. There's a reason. When you smoke pot, 72 hours later, you're still 25% impaired. It takes you that much longer to see the 5-year-old run in front of your car to get the ball, and you hit the brakes. So I have no problem. People want to smoke pot. Just give us your driver's license so you stop killing our kids.
Okay, so it's they're killing our kids with bad driving, and that's why you want THC to be illegal.
Yeah, unless you're okay. See, they already killed my kid, a drunk driver, a high driver, 20 years ago, which is why I do what I do. So my job in life is to stop drunk drivers, impaired drivers from killing other people. So I have no problem. People want to sit in their house and get baked. God bless you. But as soon as you get on the road, you know what you're doing. You're putting other lives at risk.
So what if we make it like alcohol? It's legal, but if you're impaired on it while you're driving, then that's illegal.
Sure. However, there's a difference between alcohol and pot. You can drink, you could have 5 martinis today, and you're drunk as a skunk. Tomorrow morning, you wake up, you have a hangover, but you're not impaired. When you smoke pot, 3 days later, you're still impaired. Remember that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the key
listen,
here.
a lot of us are going to be suspicious of that because, I mean, how do you explain Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson? They would just be running into the ditch every Tuesday if that was the case.
Well, it's not 100%.
What percent is it?
Don't kill 100%. Come on.
Okay, so what percent is it? What percentage threshold would be low enough that you would change your stance?
0.
0. So if an endeavor is 0.1% flawed and has a bad outcome 1 out of 10,000 times, do you think that should be outlawed?
I have no opinion on that statement. Geez, we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Well, no, look, because I'm not necessarily arguing with you. I'm just trying to find out where your boundaries are. Because there's a lot of people who will say, well, if it costs 1 life, it should be illegal. Well, then you should make Kit Kats illegal because look at all the people that are eating themselves to death. You should make going outside and playing golf in the rain illegal. Some guy died getting struck by lightning on the golf course this weekend. So, I mean, that's not a rational place. And I'm not saying your position is irrational. I'm just trying to figure out where your boundaries are.
Haven't thought of my boundaries. You're asking me a question I've never thought of. How's that?
Fair enough. No, that works. I appreciate you calling in and explaining your position, Chris. You did a great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Enjoy your show.
Thank you. Albert in Mesquite, where are you on the THC ban? You think it'll survive the special session?
Well, I think they should ban it. The guy you just spoke with brought up some very important issues, but the THC is a primary psychoactive compound, which can make you hallucinate compared to CBD, that is therapeutic for pain and all that, which seems to help out people. I know people that take that. The THC cannabis, the little edibles, the problem I see with it is you can be riding down the road and just somebody's sitting there munching them all day like M&Ms. Since, of course, they dropped the bag, the soccer mom drops the bag at the soccer field, and the kid picks it up and starts eating them too. It's a mind-altering drug. We all know that. That being said, would I like to smoke pot at home? Yes, I would. But I don't think those things should be legal, and just being able to go down to your local Kroger and buy a 5-pound bag of edible THCs.
So how do you reconcile that with alcohol?
Well, you're comparing apples to oranges. I mean, alcohol's been through prohibition and everything else. If you buy alcohol, first off, you have to be ID'd. You have to be 21 years old. You're buying it from a place that's legally selling it. And if you get pulled over, open container law, then yeah, you get the breathalyzer and you go to jail. If you can prove, or you have some sort of special machine that can say, okay, here, breathe into this, and I just ate 16 edibles and a bag of chips and a chili dog because I'm stoned, how do you prove that I'm on THC while I'm driving? You can prove I'm on alcohol while I'm driving. How do you prove they're on THC when they're driving?
I would say give them a field sobriety test, make them see if they can touch their nose with their eyes closed, or make them walk a straight line, or say their ABCs backwards. And if you can, demonstrate that you have your basic motor functions and reflexes, then you should be good to go.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. What about the psychoactive compounds in THC, to where there is a possibility that you may take too many? Now, the other guy you had earlier on, the reason I called in was because of him saying, I can eat a whole bag of edibles and I won't die. Well, good. I want to watch him eat 3 bags of it and see if he dies. Because there is a point in time where your body is be oversaturated with some sort of compound and may create another problem that we don't know about. Like I said, once again, I wish everyone can go on home and smoke some weed and watch South Park. But when you're out there in public and driving and have these little edibles that kids are going to think they're candy, we've already had problems with that in other states that you hear about. So that's a big issue there. And on top of that, also, people smoke weed all the time now and they get pulled over. There's still cognitive function. You mentioned Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson.
Right.
They're able to perform on stage high as all get out. So to say they can't drive a car while they're stoned, well, those are the few exceptions. But people that say, hey, well, I can eat THC edibles right now, let's go ahead and have a dozen of them, and then knocks them on their butt, and you passed out because they're so baked. You remember the movie Half Baked, when they're all on the couch?
And they started flying out the window? Yeah,
right.
I love Half Baked.
Well, it is a psychoactive compound, and that's the point I'm trying to bring up to you.
I find it quite interesting that you admit Willie Nelson can play the bridge solo on Whiskey River, but can't operate a car on weed.
I never said he couldn't operate a car on weed,
so they can. So the whole car operation concern, where did that come from? I thought you just blew that out of the water yourself. Anyway, I'm sorry. No. I'm just out of time. I looked at the clock. You guys are making some great arguments here. Thank you. That's Albert in Mesquite. And we're just talking about the THC ban, and let me know where you stand on that. Got some great callers lined up. You'll hear more on where people stand here in Texas on the THC ban next. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 93.3 FM, WBAP. We're having some good discussions here about Governor Abbott vetoing the ban on legal THC in Texas. It is going to be addressed in the Texas special session. And I want to know where you stand and why. Where do you draw the line? And it's no fun to talk to me. I think everything should be legal and over the counter. You should walk into CVS and you can buy some antibiotics or insulin test strips or all this other dumb stuff that really should not be prescription based. The male enhancement pills. You don't have to go to Mexico and sneak them back in your luggage anymore. You can just go down the street. So my boundaries just really don't exist. But where are yours? Because I think 90% of y'all disagree with me, and I just got to be a little open-minded at times like this, listening to you guys lecture me. Brent, Lake Weatherford, you're on WBAP. Go.
James, I want to apologize because I don't know the difference between THC and the CBD. I found out I had cancer last September. And of course, I had a little bit of anxiety I've been dealing with. And my sweetheart, she said, well, before I went to sleep, kisses me and gives me this little gummy. And, man, I go to sleep. And so you might need to educate me a little bit, the difference of them. But I don't have any ill effects the next day. I'm 73 years old. I get up, I work around my lake house, I work around her house. I do benevolent things, go to morning prayer. And so I guess I need some education. But what I take, I guess you don't want you to give you the name of it, but it's great stuff for me.
Well, right now it's legal. If you want that to continue to be legal, you might want to pay attention to the special session, or at least the results of the special session. CBD is some compound that is in cannabis genus plants that has therapeutic effects. The THC is the one that gets you high, but some people find that therapeutic in different ways. I don't know. I don't need any drugs, legal or illegal. I'm just a regular guy. So, I mean, I go to sleep when I want. Sometimes if I'm having a hard time, like if I didn't exercise that day, I'll just kill it with bourbon. So, I'm not going to judge you if you need chemical assistance to sleep well. That's fine. But man, I
can tell you one thing, James. It's pretty funny. With my condition, I have to get up and pee, 3 or 4 o'clock. One time I woke up a little too early, and I don't know if the effects of the gummy, but I literally had to crawl back to get in bed. I couldn't walk. So, yeah. I got back to the couch, and then I had to crawl. I was crawling up over the bed. And she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm just trying to get in bed." So I guess you have to sleep 4, 5, 6 hours before. But I don't know the one I take is THC or CBD. I just don't know the difference of them.
Yeah, the THC gets you high. The CBD doesn't, and I think it's just minuscule differences after that. Thank you very much for your call, Brent and Lake Weatherford. This is Charles in Paris. You're on WBAP.
Yeah, but everybody's got an opinion. I both know that. And I understand your opinion. Everything ought to be legal.
Yeah.
But when you look at all the states have started small like we're doing, and then they go to medical, and then they go to recreational. And I agree with your caller earlier that said that everybody, a lot of this was about the regulation and control. You and I both know that's just taxes any way you look at it. And the medical profession wanting to be able to write their subscriptions like they do in Oklahoma and other states.
Well, it's also a power that they get to charge lobbyists for. Do you want the rules written in your favor? We control them now. And so now they get money from lobbyists because they control this. If it was under my system, there would be no alcohol lobby. There would be no weed lobby. There would be no rules to lobby in your favor, to be rewritten in your favor. So that would get rid of the lobbyist problem. But anyway, go ahead. I was just clearing up that.
I understand your libertarian position. I lean libertarian on some things, but if we did it that way, if we just said, "Oh, everything's legal," look at how many alcohol deaths, alcohol-related deaths are caused every day in Texas. You and I both know it's horrendous. You're going to have some people who are going to abuse it no matter what, whether they do it under a legal system or illegal system. They're
Agreed.
going to abuse it.
Yeah.
And right now, there is no test. And I used to be a deputy in Oklahoma, and I still have a lot of friends that are in law enforcement. Right now, there is no test that will positively tell us if someone is. I mean, you can tell they're impaired, but you can't tell what they're impaired on without a blood test, and that takes time.
Well, we could say that about.
How do you turn them loose? How do you turn them loose as a cop?
I have
a
the answer to that.
responsibility.
I got it. I have the answer to that. Number one, we don't have the ability to instantly test the toxicology on a lot of these other drugs that can affect your driving, pain pills and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And a lot of stuff that's over the
Absolutely.
counter, like sleep medicine stuff that can affect your
Yep.
driving. So those are still legal. I would point at that, number one. Number two, the field sobriety test should sum it up for everyone. Yeah, they may look impaired. You may think they stink, or they may have had 28 gummies. But if they can walk a straight line, if they can prove their reflexes, if they can close their eyes and touch their nose and say their alphabet backwards, and the other things we generally associate with field sobriety tests, I say legally speaking, they are good to go to drive. That's all it takes.
But you still have the fact that if that officer turns that person loose, they go down the road and they kill somebody, then it comes back on that officer. You understand what I'm saying? There's a deal called last chance.
I know, but then the
officer
officer
had an
shows
opportunity
the officer shows the jury the video and says, "Wouldn't you make the same decision I made in the same situation?"
Well, I don't agree, but we'll leave it at that.
No, I don't
Agree to
expect you to.
disagree.
I know.
And,
I'm almost scared to do topics like this because I know 90% of people disagree with me on that. So I really appreciate y'all just putting up with me at this point.
Well, yeah, everybody's got a right to their opinion, James. You and I know that,
right?
And that's where we get in trouble with the libtards. They don't want you and I to have an opinion.
Well, listen, I hope y'all all at least understand, and I don't mean just you, everyone else that's disagreeing with me right now and gritting their teeth, is that I look at prohibition and I see that before alcohol was made illegal, deaths were at a certain level. When it was made illegal, the deaths from alcohol actually went up. When prohibition was repealed, the deaths went back down. And conversely, who has the biggest problem, or where are most of our drug deaths coming from right now in America? It's not coming from weed. It's not even coming from alcohol. It's coming from like oxys, and it's coming from fentanyl, and it's coming from these really souped up opioids, most of which have gone through the most strict government control and regulation process possible because they're pharmaceutical pills. But 800-288-9227. And coming up next, we'll ask our legal analyst, Jeremy Rosenthal from Texas Defense Firm, about this and a couple other legal issues. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820, 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820 93.3 FM, WBAP. Enough baseless speculation about legal matters with your humble host here. Let's bring in the legal analyst of the James Show, the great Jeremy Rosenthal. TexasDefenseFirm.com is his website. Welcome back, sir. Before we get into the Carmelo Anthony story, what is the protocol as it stands right now? We were talking about the THC ban being vetoed, and a lot of the concern from callers was that if you take a bunch of gummies and you're impaired and you get pulled over in a traffic stop, how do the cops determine if you're impaired? They don't have a breathalyzer. Okay, to our top story for today's legal segment, Carmelo Anthony indicted on first-degree murder charges. Do we agree with that it should be first degree and not second degree or maybe even manslaughter? What makes it first-degree murder in this case? Well, if they charge him with murder, but the jury thinks it's manslaughter, they can change that sort of in the process, right? So we have another weird situation where it looks so obvious that this guy's guilty. Do we expect him to take a plea deal at some point? The sentence. I hear you. All right, good stuff. Jeremy Rosenthal, our legal analyst from TexasDefenseFirm.com, is going to come back in the next segment and respond to a controversial weight requirement in a prenup. That's right. A prenuptial agreement in a marriage had a weight limit. Find out if it got enforced in court next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. We're continuing with our legal analyst, Jeremy Rosenthal, TexasDefenseFirm.com. It's his outlets. If you've got a case hanging over your head, maybe you need to go to his website. Hey, I got a question before we move on to our next topic. This was David who was asking about the situation with Carmelo Anthony. He was indicted on first-degree murder in Collin County. David asks, why not capital murder, as he committed a felony while killing a minor? He was 18 at the time. Why is this not capital murder? All right. Well, I sent you this viral video from some other guy that's a divorce lawyer. He was asked the question, like, what's some of the craziest provisions you've seen in a prenup that actually got upheld in court? So remember, people, when you're hearing this, this has already been adjudicated and upheld by a judge in a court.
The most shocking prenup I've ever seen, which was enforceable, had a provision that said that for every 10 pounds the wife gained in the marriage, she would lose $10,000 a month in alimony. He was very concerned that she was going to become less attractive and he was going to become more wealthy. So his solution to this was in the prenuptial agreement. He wanted a clause that said if they divorced, she was going to get like $70,000 a month for alimony. But for every 10 pounds she gained from the date of marriage, she would forfeit $10,000 a month worth of alimony. And it was designed to sort of create an incentive that she would remain thin. And that was enforceable, meaning they tried to challenge and set aside that provision. And the court said, this is a disgusting provision. I don't know why you married this person, but it's enforceable. It's a contract. The two of you signed it, and you had a right to sign it, and you agreed to these rules, and they may be ridiculous rules, but you agreed to them, and you have a right to do that. I think it's a kind of love. I think it's a form of love. Is it a form of love I'd be interested in? No, I think it's very shallow in some ways. There's something very honest about it. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that there's something very upfront about it. He was making very clear and putting in writing, here's the value you bring to this relationship. I consider your physical appearance vitally important to this relationship. And by the way, don't skip the other side of that equation. She was going to get $70,000 a month. That's a very impressive number. So I think she also understood there was a value to be attached to him as well. Is it something I would be interested in on either side of that equation? No. But do I have a right to say to someone that's not love?
So, wow, Jeremy Rosenthal, legal analyst on the James Show, your response to that prenup. Well, so do you think that would work in Texas? Because this guy said it got held up in court. Now, I don't know what state he's in. Because then my second question is, there's a prenuptial. Is there something that's like a postnuptial or just a nuptial agreement? Like if you have an existing wife, could you maybe make her sign a contract? Or not make her, but could she voluntarily enter into a similar contract? Boy, part of that lawyer in business that you're in is pretty cold stuff there, Jeremy Rosenthal. Jeremy, I'm so surprised that these two kids couldn't work it out. I'm surprised the marriage did. It was built on such a strong foundation of love and trust. I can't believe that they ever needed to get a divorce. Jeremy Rosenthal, TexasDefenseFirm.com is his website. Thank you very much, sir. All right, coming up next, our next guest did some killer work over in Fort Worth. Do you know that they still have a DEI program in Fort Worth, even though it's technically illegal? Well, wait till you hear them arguing for Fort Worth politicians trying to keep their DEI programs. Find out how much it's costing you, and they just might get away with it too. Carlos Tercios from the Dallas Express explains next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there, fellow Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 93.3 FM, WBAP. I am your host, James Parker. My next guest, you didn't notice he was gone, but I certainly did. He's with the Dallas Express. He was working in the legislative session or something like that, I think. But he's back now at the Dallas Express, and boy, I've been getting a lot of good audio out of him. So thanks for doing some legwork, prepping for my show. Carlos Tercios from Dallas Express. Welcome back. Well, you did some great work going to this meeting in Fort Worth yesterday. Now, what was this a meeting of? Was this the Tarrant County Commissioners Court, or was this the City Council? What jurisdiction are we talking about? It's a lot of money. Okay, so isn't there something in a Texas statute that makes public institutions not legal for them to have a DEI department? That's a college thing. All right, you're listening to Carlos Tercios from Dallas Express. Let me play you a couple of sound bites from the videos he was posting yesterday on Twitter/X. The first one, this is a lady giving a public comment here. She's wearing a mask, and she's wearing a mask that says BLM. Now, this isn't a time warp to 2020. This is an old video. This was yesterday, but listen to her try and save the DEI program.
All people who are going to be affected negatively by this removal. Jay Choppa, I heard your presentation. You presented it like our backs are up against the wall. They are not. $40 million in federal grants and federal funding, we have that under our big toe in Fort Worth. We have that lying around in CCPD. We have that lying around in vacant positions that are not filled, that are hard to fill, that will not be filled anytime soon.
So she's making the case that they need to keep their DEI programs, even if they would lose money, tens of millions of dollars. Your reaction, Carlos? Damn. Mm-hmm. Another great soundbite you gave us yesterday. Chris Nettles, who's a city councilman in Fort Worth, District 8. What's the deal with white people killing black
The
people?
reason why we say Black Lives Matter is because it's the black lives that has been killed and destroyed in our streets by white folks. The reason why it's important that we have programs like this is because we have not had the equity and the ability to, even though we can do the work, but because we don't look like you look or talk like you talk, then we don't meet your qualifications. And that's what we're standing on today. And I believe that this city council, this city manager can find ways to fund these programs.
That's not even a coherent argument, Carlos. Yeah, it's pretty close. We're talking with Carlos Tercios from the Dallas Express. Coming up next, what is going to happen with the DEI program? Is there something you can do about it, my citizens of the city of Fort Worth and Tarrant County? Stick around. We have some ideas and some advice coming up next on The James Show, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey there. Thanks for hanging out on The James Show. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. We're continuing with Carlos Tercios from DallasExpress.com. Dallas Express is the other great newspaper from Dallas. Really, I should say the only great newspaper from Dallas these days. But Carlos Tercios, when we talk about the DEI program in Fort Worth being on the chopping block, this seems like a no-brainer on what would be best for the citizens of Fort Worth. Not losing that funding, not spending this other funding. That $40 million is what she cited their DEI program cost them. Oh, we can just get it from somewhere else. We have that under our big toe. We'll just take it from the taxpayers. It wouldn't be good for the few people that are employed by the DEI programs. So what do the taxpayers do to stop this? Well, generally speaking on this show, not a big fan of people protesting or making a sign or hollering in the street. But this level of political activism where you show up at the meeting where the argument's had, where the decision is going to be made. You know, there's politicians that will be swayed by seeing a giant crowd of motivated, enthusiastic people in the room with them and think, ooh, if I don't get this right, all these people's emotions, ire, and energy are going to be turned against me. I actually have seen that have some sort of positive effect on statecraft, even at the local level, especially at the local level. Boo. All right, this is Carlos Tercios from the Dallas Express. Are you going to some of the protests this weekend? I see that there's going to be Indivisible is hosting a protest Friday at the Main Street Garden in downtown Dallas, and this is for no war on Iran. But it seems like it's just the same groups coming out every other weekend and just changing flags. You know, it was the Ukraine flag one week, and then it was the Mexican flag the next week, and then it was the Palestinian flag the week after that. Now we're going to be swinging the Iranian flag. I mean, they're just going to continue this, what, indefinitely? Yeah, give me some of that sweet, sweet audio, Carlos. And look, I have a lot of people who, or a few people who've sent me emails and Facebook messages. Am I concerned about the Islamist communist that is going to be the next mayor of New York City? And I think, dude, if it was run by an Islamist communist, what would they do any different? Like, how could you even tell? And so, no, and then I tried to really answer the question. It's like, well, how would it be different than it is now? It's like, well, the economic policies would be about the same. The America hating would be about the same. The antipathy toward MAGA and Trump would be about the same. I guess maybe it might be less gay. Well, I see, and I find that quite warm. It's like a warm hug to me because it's an argument we can't lose. Like when they say that we should open up women's sports and let these other people play that obviously don't belong, you can argue against it or you can just let it happen. I'm only going to be proven right. And so for this one, oh, really? The people who have the sexual orientation that is wholly rejected by the Islamists are teaming up with the Islamists. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's not going to work out well. Just my prediction. Carlos Chaciras, you do great work. I appreciate your help with all the prep on the James Show. Good luck at the protest this weekend, sir. Find his work. He's got a good Twitter feed you can follow, but DallasExpress.com is his day job. Coming up next, we got to do an immigration report. Renata Castro from USA for All is going to be joining us. And the Supreme Court says Trump can deport illegals to countries they aren't from, which I think is hilarious. Might be even preferable to deporting them back to their home country. Here, let's just throw in another monkey wrench. But we'll talk to her about that next. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Now for my friend, Bob Lavelle, Home Marketing Services. You see the home market is heating up nationwide, and that's the reports. But the little secret is it's been hot here for a lot longer than it's been heated up nationwide.
I agree. And it not only has it been hot, I think what's most important is the builders have a lot of inventory right now. And the new home builds have a greater inventory right now, I think, than the pre-owned stuff. Now, we do both, but that's really great for business when, I mean, like a couple just left here a few minutes ago, nicest people, Mike and Aaron, they have never bought a home. They're in their early 40s, and they just said, you know what? We calculated we spent $220,000 in rent at the same place for the last 10 years, and it's time. So they came in. It wasn't as complicated as they thought. They'll go out this weekend. I bet they'll find what they love.
Yeah, right. All that money, they get nothing back for it. If they had been in the home ownership game, they'd walk away with, I don't know, $60,000, $100,000 or whatnot next time they changed homes. But the other good thing that Bob does that your friend from college or your sister-in-law who just got a real estate license can't do is he mentioned the relationship he has with builders. He's been friends and business partners with builders for 30 years. And when they build 250 homes and they got to unload them, they go to someone who can take care of the big chores like Bob Lavelle. So call 972-392-9595. Get home marketing services working for you. 972-392-9595. You can go to blessyourheart.com or Bob's phone number, 972-392-9595. Thanks again, Bob.
Thank you, James. Take care.
Hey there, welcome to the James Show. I'm James Parker on News Talk 820 93.3 FM WBAP. My next guest is immigration advocate from USA for All, full-service immigration firm Renata Castro is coming back on. And it feels like, I talk to you maybe once every couple of weeks here in this sort of transitional period for our immigration laws. What has changed since the last time you were on? I guess we've had a couple of judicial rulings, but what's new in the immigration landscape? Do we have Renata? All right, try it again, Renata. Garrett forgot to hit the big red button. I hear you now. So what's changed since the last time you were on? Renata Castro, what has been changed that is still being debated by the courts? We're talking with Renata Castro from USA for All about immigration, and some people were concerned about workplace raids, thinking, well, I thought we were just going for criminals. But I think most people, at least most Trump supporters, are okay with workplace raids. Are we seeing those yet? All right. Well, good chat. Renata Castro, USA for All is her outfit, and it's USA, the number 4 all .com. Your .com, not a .org. Yeah, .com. Okay. Just wanted to get it right here. Thank you very much for your time. Coming up next, you've heard of trigger warnings and you've seen people be triggered and you've seen meltdowns over the most trifling of causes. But you're going to hear a viral video of a meltdown that may be for the lamest, weakest trigger possible. Find out in 4 minutes on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey there, welcome back to the James Show. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Sometimes I play you these viral videos that happen to be funny to make a good point, not to make fun of people. This time I think we're just going to be making fun of people. Is that okay? Can we be childish for a second? Because, look, we make fun of trigger warnings and people getting triggered, and not because, there's no such thing as getting triggered. It's that the bar for what becomes unacceptable, what becomes obscene, or what becomes, not fit for public consumption based on the fear that it could trigger somebody. The bar's gotten so low. That's what makes it ridiculous. And so I think we may have reached the bottom of the barrel of the triggering bit here. A couple ladies, they're a couple. It's not important whether or not they're lesbians. They just are, just to explain the two voices. They're in a grocery store, had a meltdown because some man next to them floated an air biscuit, if you know what I mean.
It's fresh because it just happened. But my wife and I just went to the grocery store right by our house, just to buy like junk food and stuff, because we're really tired. Just wanted some sweet treats. And we were walking down an aisle, and there were like two guys that walked up next to us. Peyton like walked away. My wife walked away for just a second, and they were like snickering to themselves or something. And I didn't really think much of it, so I'm just looking at the candy aisle trying to decide what candy I want. And he walks by and gets like inches from me and just rips one, like farts like this far from me. That's disgusting to say. I can't even believe I'm having to say this, but he did. And about that time, Peyton walked up, like didn't witness what happened, but like seconds later, and I'm like upset, and I follow after him, and I was like, is there a reason? You were just so disrespectful to me. And we go to customer service. And this is Albertsons, putting y'all out there. This is Albertsons, by the way. And go to the customer service to be like, hey, this just happened. I was just disrespected in your store and called names like several times. And the security guard went and talked to him, came back, and they all just kind of looked at us and was like, well, can't y'all just leave?
Yeah, I like the fact that she chased this to the management of Albertsons. Full disclosure, I sat grocery at Albertsons in high school for a few months. But that's my only affiliation with them. I have no loyalty to Albertsons, but I definitely feel sorry for them, because how can you hold a company responsible for the loose bowels of the millions of customers that shuffle in and out of their stores over the course of the last few years? They cannot be held responsible for everyone that decides to cut the cheese in the produce section. Where did these people learn this? Number one, that having someone break wind next to you is just a personal slight and it's a trigger that is just dehumanizing. Who taught you that? Did you not have a brother growing up? Did you not have any guy friends that were growing up? And then I have some questions for Peyton, the wife in the background. If you saw your spouse posting something this cringy, something this just sobbing about a fart, you wouldn't stop them? You wouldn't say, no, you're really gonna go viral in a way that you don't want. This is not gonna make your life. This is probably ruin every Google search on you from here to the end of Google. This is what your grandkids and great-grandkids are going to be pulling up when they Google your name, is that you got triggered because some guy floated one next to you in an Albertsons. The other cool thing about now, it's 2025. There's always people recording, if not with their phone. There's surveillance cameras everywhere, and they have microphones on them. And so some of these sleuths on the internet with their weaponized autism, they hacked Albertsons system, they got the video to prove the woman's story. And if you enhance the audio, if you just cut out that one little part and you enhance the audio, we actually got a live cut here of the crime in progress. All right, no, I'm just kidding. I was being a kid. But isn't this taking the trigger game too far? Look, if you grew up during the Jim Crow South and someone put a burning cross in your yard and you said, I'm triggered, I think we'd all be sympathetic toward your cause. Like, yeah, that's horrible that you had to go through that. Everyone should be able to, just live in peace in their neighborhood without having threatening, flaming crosses in their yard, coming from a group that's known for beating and lynching and destroying the lives of people based on the color of their skin. Pretty scary stuff. And then you go down the escalator of triggers, and burning cross probably right up at the top, brandishing a gun. Then it gets to verbal stuff like you heard the N word, or maybe you even heard the B word. And then you get down to even smaller triggers and slights like, oh, he flipped me off, or I didn't appreciate the way he looked at me. Or the very bottom of the escalator, I think might be break and win, cutting the cheese. This is it? This is your trigger? Have you not had any obstacles in your entire life that you've overcome so much so that a fart is insurmountable to you? And then my last thought was with the person who had to field the complaint for Albertsons. They're not even upset about that. That's the highlight of their day. They probably just had to fire someone for shoplifting, during their shift. They probably had to clean up some broken spaghetti sauce in aisle 4. And then, oh, great, here comes a crying woman with her next complaint. What could the grievance possibly be this time? Oh, some dude farted on you? That's hilarious. I can't wait to tell all my friends. This is the funniest thing I've heard all day. I'm not upset at all. Sorry you feel that way. If you have any further questions, call the cops. They'd love a good laugh too. All right, if you want to come out and see me this weekend, no fart jokes, but I am doing a comedy show with Alex Stein at Hyenas in Dallas. Doors open at 6, show at 7. Come on out there, show up, support a brother. I got kids. I need all the help I can get. In the meantime, stick around because the Mark Levin show is coming up next. If you need some more James Show action before I come back on the air tomorrow at 2, check out the podcast. The James Show podcast is about to get put up as soon as I get off the air here. So thank you very much for hanging out today. Let's do it again tomorrow. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM WBAP.